Orchard. I'm a member of Warriors of the Aboriginal Resistance in the Brisbane Aboriginal Sovereign Embassy. And since 2012, we've been holding these Dundali Day memorial services to remember and honour the legacy that is Dundali and his resistance and the efforts that we use today that we've learned from him here in Meanjin, on the same country and the same place where he took his last breath. So to tell you a bit about Dundali, I'm going to invite Uncle Alex Bond to come up and have a yarn and tell us all about the legacy that is Dundali. Go away.
That's what Dundali would have said. Ngara. Welcome, hello. Dundali was a cubby man. He's over 7 foot tall. He was a really big man, well built, like quite a few of our leaders were at the time. Dundali was what we call a Gingimbara man from the Mary Valley, and he lost his clan at the Kilcoy massacre. He lost a lot of his people. Over 60 people poisoned at Kilcoy. That's when that mob came down. That was 1841. But my people have been leading the resistance and fighting here since the first penal settlement was set up at Redcliffe. And when my mob come down from the Mary Valley to our place at Redcliffe, we could see there were huts and they stole our roofing and everything, so we hunted them out of there. We speared a few and chased them because they stole our land and they were on our special place where we come down in the winter for mullet and for fishing and for ceremony. We come to get our grandchildren, take them back up into the mountains. So Dundali led, he was our general. For over 14 years, nearly 14 years, Dundali led the resistance this way along with another headman called Dalipai. Dalipai was our statesman. Dalipai was not the fighter, he was the talker, and he represented us through language and speaking to people. Dundali was our fighter. Same as Billy Barlow from Private Island. Billy Barlow was his right-hand man. And they finally caught Dundali down here in Brisbane when he's coming out to check out the settlement again. And he went under the name of Wilson. Now, they caught Dundali with the help of some Aboriginal men from the south side here. And they came here to hang him. Now he knew the law. If you look at the history, Dundali knew the law, the King's law, the English law. Not a lot, but he knew a bit. And he knew that if they wanted to hang him, execute him, he had to go to Sydney to appear. But they brought a kangaroo court up here within a couple of weeks to deal with Dundali because they feared that if they didn't deal with Dundali, then the whole colony would fall here. A colony, like a bunch of bees or wasps, you know what I mean? Anyway, they captured him and they hanged him out. January 5, 1855. Up on the hill, see the central station was a hill. It went right up that way. And all my mob was up there on the hill, watching the hanging here. And Dundali sang out to his people, and especially Billy Barlow, to seek vengeance on him being executed. So Billy Barlow swore vengeance on those Aboriginal men in particular, and all white people generally. And that's what Billy Barlow did till he disappears into history. So, I know Dundali's been accused of a murder by certain Aboriginal people or whatever, but that's not true, you know, he's just a fighter. He was a warrior defending his country. And him being called a murderer is just white people writing about him to call us murderers. We were always murderers. When we defended our country and killed white people for being on our country, we were called murderers. So that spin still happens today, you know, whether it be Andrew Bolt or John Laws or Idiot Jones, Alan Jones. But, you know, that spin was there. So every time we fought for our land and we killed some white people, we were murderers. So Dundali was called a murderer. He wasn't a murderer to us. He was defending our children and everything. He lost a lot. Like, you know, fighting for our, you know, Cubby people. We fought. We had a frontier war here The frontier started here, Redcliffe first, and come down here. Our frontier war, the Cubby Cubby, was for 30 years. We fought all the way up into the Dawson. We were massacred, so now you go back to that time, there was not many of us left, about 20 couples. So from hundreds of couples, we come down to 20 couples. 20 couples. There's not much Cubby Cubby people left. We're the remnants of those people that survived. Now, Dundali loved his people, loved his land, loved his law and respected it. And that's what he fought for. Our rights. And our right to land. And all you have to do is read Dundali, read Dalapai. You ever there? Just Google Dalapai on NLA Trove, D-A-L-I-P-I-E, and you'll see what Dundali was fighting for. You'll see that's an eyewitness account of what went down by our other leader, Dalapai. Now we still struggle today, we're fighting today to get our rights and everything, but we haven't stopped since Redcliffe, when they first put down, they stole our bark for roofing and they took our land and then they claimed it for the king. We didn't know what a king was. We didn't know King George. We didn't know all that. All we knew was our place in our country that our family and our people have been living for thousands of generations. Thousands. We had no understanding about that. We had no understanding about being a slave, being a serf, being under servitude of a lord and lady, the House of Lords. Because we all went out and we earned our respect. From a little kid to when you're an old man, you have to go out there and earn your respect. You have to go out and earn it. If you're a bludger, if you didn't do nothing, they'd flog you. My people, we all worked. And we worked hard. We all worked hard, and the harder we worked, the more respect we got when we were old. And the more we helped other people, the more respect we got. And that's what we aim for all through our life. To have a big funeral, because we were respected for all the hard work we did when we were young, to get to that point. Now the government, the king and the queen all over there have taken away that respect for what we had. Taken it away and called us bludgers and all that. They created the squeaky wheel. They created the bludgers. Because in our society, we didn't have bludgers. We didn't have no people to sit around. We all had to get up and participate in the work for the mob. And you earned your status by how hard you worked. Right? That's how it worked. And that's all been broken down now. House of Lords has benefited here. The House of Lords. The House of Lords came here and they used their serfs, their slaves, their convicts to open up this land for the lords and ladies of Europe. And they benefited. Billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. Over 100, 200 years they have benefited. The House of Lords. You know, this ain't just a black-white thing. This is a status thing. This is about the lords and ladies, the 10% of society that rule this or try and rule this world with the help of Rupert Murdoch. You know, that's what this is about. Now, we'll work together to fight, to get our rights, you know, and work and get our respect. Work hard. Work hard for our community. This thing they've taken away from us. And then they come and they take our children. And because we can't cope and everything, they take over the status of being the parent and they won't give it back. They will not give it back. They want to own us. They want to own our children. How many of us been wards? We've been wards of the state for generations. And then they want to talk about the squeaky wheel. It's their fault we're the squeaky wheel, not ours. We're a result of it. That bullshit, that House of Lords bullshit, tobacco, alcohol, all that sort of stuff. You know, we had the first marketplace here. We fed the settlers here. We fed the colonists here. They wouldn't have survived without us. We worked hard. We kept the economy going through World War One and World War Two. We were the ones who kept this country going. For stuff all. We got paid nothing hardly. Bit of tobacco, bit of flour, maybe some fire water. But if it wasn't for us, this country would be suffering and would be in a harder position. So we helped this country. We did. Aboriginal people. Dundali fought hard for us to have our place. Same as Dalapai, and same as others, Billy Barlow, Multuggerah, Mope, you know, Yalopi, who they killed on Stradding, the big chief of the area, Yalopi. They call him Bonaparte, you know? And they come and they wipe out our fighting leaders who had brains, and they put some other dunderhead in place, you know? And I'm over it because this is a practice they've been doing for a long time now. When there's someone strong and speak up, they push him out the way, they put someone there when it just be like them black fellas that put Dundali in over here and called Dundali and traded in their aboriginality so that they could get some coin and they could probably get something better than the rest of them all. Them black fellas back then, them Aboriginal men back then who put Dundali in, sold us out. Now I know some Aboriginal people been going on about Dundali being a murderer and all that. They can go get stuff. Because if they're going to say that, they're only repeating what the newspaper said about him. So that just tells me about them black fellas, that all they do is read what a white fella say and repeat what a white fella say. You know? That's bullshit. Dundali's a great hero and should be respected as that. Same as Dalapai, Yalopi, Multuggerah, the whole lot of them. Jundamara, you know, all of them. They fought for us. They put their lives on the line and they lost their lives. Their life is more than anything whatever it can give. Right? I don't like this bullshit about Dundali being called a murderer for one. Because he just fought for all of us. Same as Dalapai, all of them. They treated us like just fodder and they treated us like slaves. They enslaved us, they put us in little squares called reserves. They took away our law, they took away our culture, our language. They bring in the missionaries, half-educated missionaries, to come and teach us their version of the Bible. Well, we had a deeper version of that Old Testament that go way back, mate. Right? We had Biro, the Creator. You know, we had all that text. They brought with them the New Testament. My mum told me when I was a kid, they brought with them we always had the Old Testament here, and they brought a New Testament, but they never practiced what they preached. They never actually did what the New Testament told them. Right? They come to steal off us, and then they use words, because Anglo-Saxons are very good at using words against people. And that's where we got caught. So Dundali should be respected for his battle and his wars and all them people who fell. We lost a lot of people, Cubby. We lost lots. Thousands of us died. You can go up here to Sanford Valley, you go around, there's valleys of bones and skeletons that's still there that nobody even knows about now because they're like the Rupert Murdochs and all this and everything. Cover up our history. Cover it up. So when everyone else can walk around and go, what are they going on about? Everything's fine. Well, that's bullshit. You know that. All right, I'm sorry I get a bit excited, but Dundali should be respected, and there should be something for Dundali. They got a general up here. See that general? Back face to us. The Boer War. The Boer War. Well, what happened after the Boer War? What happened? The new South African Republic sent 3 bureaucrats over from the newly formed Republic of South Africa to learn about how Queensland dealt with the natives. Then they took it back after 3 years to South Africa and they called it apartheid. So Queensland is the mother of apartheid. People got to remember that. Queensland's the mother of apartheid. Queensland gave birth to apartheid.
Shame.
That's what people got to understand. And what all the Australians jumping up 10 years ago, 20 years ago, anti-apartheid, doing things, and then we're still suffering here. Well, what about dealing with the mother of apartheid? It's still around. You just have to go see the policeman get around, mate. You know? We have a responsibility to step up and make our lives better, bloody oath. But when we're set in a framework and we've been put in a square for 4 or 5 generations, it's hard to dig your way out of there. You know? We're suffering and it's getting worse, it's not getting better. Our children are the ones whose parents can't look after themselves. Our children. They're our resource. That's our best, powerful, strongest resource is our children. That's what we've got to start focusing on now around here, because there's a lot of crap going down. And I think Dundali, the big 7-foot man, he'd be there, but all the kids over him, he'd love him. You know, because Dundali was a family man. He wasn't a murderer. He was a family community man who respected his law, respected his culture, loved his people, and loved his country. And how can you call that a murderer? You know? I don't call it a murderer. All right, thank you very much.
Spirit, Kumari, Kuma, Marawari. I want to acknowledge the country that we're on and the sacrifice that, you know, unnamed warriors, you know, that we don't hear about made. You know, there's many people that would have fought on the front line next to Dundali and next to all these people. That you know, that as you know, I was just mentioned, gave the ultimate sacrifice, which is their lives, you know, for future generations. 2020 is a very, very significant year, you know, for blackfellas. These sort of last few years actually have been massive for Indigenous folks all around the world, and that being because of the exploitation, I guess you could say, of somebody by the name of Captain Cook. You know, over 200 years ago, over 10 to 20 years, he travelled various different places, you know, invading different indigenous lands as well. Here, New Zealand, throughout the Pacific, Hawaii, where they took, as I like to say, took the trash out with him. Finished them off over there. This year is massive because it marks 250 years since the landing of the first fleet and the taking of the east coast of Australia. Also, what's sort of significant about this year as well, roughly around this time, 200 years ago, Dundali was born. So we celebrate roughly the 200th anniversary of his birth this year, which is a very, very significant thing as well. As Alex mentioned, him and many other warriors laid down their lives. And laid down a tradition to not give up as well, which is something that has been the catalyst of our survival for the last 250 years. In Brisbane, in New South Wales, throughout Queensland, many different other states and territories as well. Like people like this here, we need to honour a lot as well. So it's great that, after so long campaigning by elders that sadly aren't here today, their campaigning is being honoured by laying a plaque, for Dundali as well. But like I said as well, there's many, many, many different warriors who are unnamed. There are many warriors that would have stood up on this hill and chanted as they hung Dundali in and around this area as well. Or many other warriors that fought with people like Pemway and Jandamara. All them warriors up in Kalpadoon that fought as well. The reason why we're here today is because of these folks and their resilience that they gave to many generations. The reason why we survived in those camps or in these missions because of these, these stories of these warriors that continued to fight. That gave the energy and the power and the pride, for these young fellas to run away from these camps, to cruise back home to their family, to their mom. We can never ever say that we don't have nothing to be inspired by or empowered by. We have many great warriors that have fought and have given their lives on the front line. You know, it's funny because the way that history has told how this country was founded, or the history that was taught about this country, has only been in the last 10 to 15 years that our mainstream society has started to come around to this fact that we did fight. Or I should say we still continue to fight. You know, there's books that have been written, you know, to detail the lives of these amazing people. In the first 100 and almost 20 odd years, you know, the frontier of this country, the establishment of this country, was always met by a black fella to say, hey, this is our country, we'll continue to fight. You know, then they changed their tactics in terms of how they want to destroy our way of lives. Instead of just shooting us blank right in, you know, in the middle of our camps or poisoning our waters, and they come to these missions and they stole our children, took them to these missions, you know, lied to them about their history, told them if, you know, they continue to sing these songs, dance these dances, speak their languages, they'll be punished. As I said before, you know, in all these camps and in these missions, there was always a mob there that told them stories of people like Dundali and Pemaway that empowered them to run away back to their mob. We've seen this through the history of the last 400 years, even in sort of this contemporary sort of resistance after, you know, the federation of our country. Our mob always fought. They always had the pride, they always had the empowerment and the inspiration from, you know, when that mob down in Cornell or Botany Bay threw those spears, you know, at Captain Cook and his mob when they got off and they shot their muskets. You know, those stories still ring strong today to our mob. That's why we fight. That's why we continue to fight. And that's why 2020 is a very, very important time for our mob. 2020 doesn't mark, you know, 250 years of massacres. And the reason why, you know, I don't want to sort of drag on about massacres because when it's drummed in our head that we were massacred, that we were stolen. It's never taught to us that our mob fought back, that our mob saved these kids, that those kids ran away, got back to their mob. The only time you hear it, you know, is in that movie, Remembrance. There's two little sisters that made it home. There's many stories of those young children all around this country that are inspirations to this day and continue to be. So that's why 2020 is very, very important. You know, I was fortunate last year with my work to interview some Māori mob from Aotearoa about the resistance against Cook. Because they had a month-long resistance everywhere that boat docked. They made sure that there were mob there to meet that boat and to meet people to celebrate that anniversary. Now it's important that we meet, you know, their celebrations, you know, with our disgust, our sadness and our anger, because it lets them know about the true history of this country, of how it was stolen, of how it was forcibly taken. And so we've got to remember the importance of 2020. You know, it's funny because this year, over the next year and a half maybe, we're going to be doing a circumnavigation around the whole country with the First Fleet, which didn't go around the country. They went up on the East Coast. You know, we've been very, very fortunate over the last few years to have dialogue with other mobs in different communities, and they're interested in meeting that shit. Just like Dundali, just like there's other warriors around this country. When the opportunity arose, they met these fellas on the front line. That's what we're going to do. We're going to continue this rich history of resistance that we have. This rich history of not laying down. This rich history, you know, we'll fight back. Because if there's one thing that we've always did, that we've always done over the last 250 years, that we can say we've done with pride, that we've done with unity, that we've done with all over this country, is that we fought back. You know, and it's days like these, you know, they really echo It's things like these that really echo how important it is to continue to jump up and fight. And also realize and remember and be inspired. So it's actually good for myself and my little family to be here, because the last few years we've missed it. So it's really good to be out here today, to pay our respects. But saying that there would be many, many significant poor, unnamed Aboriginal people who would have died, in various different places. We know about our massacres. We know that. At the University in Newcastle, that's created this massacre now, which is good. It's good to highlight, what is happening. But white fellas are always intent with researching and documenting and sort of putting out the history of us being killed and us being dispossessed and all these other things. It's about time that, and not to say we haven't, we'll continue to do it with days like this as well. So it's really, really good for to see all you fellas here again today, to honour Dundali and to honour, the unnamed warriors that was with Dundali and the unnamed warriors, that was with Camaway and all these other fellas around the country. Because if it wasn't for them unnamed warriors, we wouldn't know about Dundali. It's those unnamed warriors that went away and that told their story. So that's why it's important when we leave here today, tomorrow, whatever we do, to continue this conversation that over 200 years ago, Dundali fought. That over 30 years ago, Brisbane Blacks, shut down Brisbane at the 82 Commonwealth Games. These are the conversations that we've got to keep telling. It inspires, non-Indigenous folks as well to get up and sort of, take their role or their spot on the front line as well. But I think I might wrap it up now, but big thanks for everybody for turning out. And it's, like I said, it's a very special, significant year, I should say, 2020, because it marks 200 years, roughly around when Dundali was born. And it marks 250 years of our resistance, of our resilience, of our survival. And it marks the next 250 years of us and what we do. And that's up to us.
The Bo mentioned about the unnamed warriors. Just a couple of weeks ago, my mother and I were going through our own family tree, and we got to a grandmother of ours who had 24 babies. Now, prior to this, our understanding of our clan and our townships that we came from of Weewar, Narrabri and Pilliga, our understanding became a lot more dense. It was a lot more complex. Because what we found is that our clan was taken down to one family group, and that was that Granny Leonard and all of her 24 babies. They were the last ones standing, and we were the last ones to come. And every single black fella who has, every single Gummeroy fella with clans in Pilliga, Weewar, Narrabri, Canamble, we all the one mob. We all first blood. Now, if I went into Canamble and I told all them mob that have been living down there for the past 100 odd years that bit of information, a lot of them will be dumbfounded by it and taken aback and standoffish. But that's one side of the coin of the story of resistance. That's how it negatively impacts us. And that's how we are in the way that we are in 2020, 250 years of post-invasion. We don't know who our warriors and their names were, but we can proudly say that they died fighting for us and fighting for us to breathe today. And that's something, that's a legacy that I'm very proud to carry. And it's a legacy that has brought me here today to honour Dundali and to honour all of our other frontier warriors like Jundamara, like Pemaway, like Triganini, like Kuyalam. These are warriors that have made it possible for us to survive and have made us and created us and created space for us. And I think it's pretty significant to have a plaque honouring Dundali in the same square where there is a general in the Boer War who was honoured. That is so significant. Next year that statue should come down. There is no world in which we can honour two different sides of that history in the same place. This man's life was taken by the likes of these people and those elites. How can we honour somebody of such integrity, such strength and such power when another fellow who is honoured in an actual physical human form is at the opposite end of the path? We as a community here in Meanjin have to, both black and white, have to realise and have to come to that hard question about who are we honouring here? Which history do we value? Which history best reflects us? I'm proud to say I resonate with Dundali, and I couldn't come any further away from that fella up the other end. You guys have to decide, have to walk away and decide which side of history you're going to be standing on. And that's something that we have to be conscious about from today onwards, and especially this year on Invasion Day at 250 years. There were many white fellas who also helped in these efforts, and it's important to honour them or remember them. This isn't about, of course this was once a battle of black and white, but now it's transformed and evolved. We all have the ability to decide about what we believe in. We have to really analyse those values. And we have to, especially at a time of what we are experiencing right now, what we see with Smokey from New South Wales and Victoria. The country's burning up, and it's because the leadership that's been here has been trying to erase us constantly. We have to come to that realisation that we have to value and honour the legacies that these old people fought for, because what their values were aren't outdated. Their values are still very relevant. Fight for country, fight for law. That's all. There's nothing more. It's not any more complex than that. Today we honour Dundali, and today, forever and ever, it's 200 years of Dundali, which is important to remember, especially when there's 250 years of invasion. He spent the most part of his life fighting, and he died right here, and today where he stands, we stand with pride and honour his legacy. So next up, I'm going to get Dad, Coco and Ward to come up.
Yes, you heard from everybody that's spoken before, and Bo and Rube and Alex. Alex is a walking encyclopedia, and what he doesn't know about what took place here in Meanjin would basically be not worthwhile knowing. I guess pay me respects to the Jagera people on the other side of the river and the Turrbal people here. Pay me respects to Uncle Sam Watson, that he was another, sometimes there would only be two of us that would turn up here on some years in the rain. Sometimes there'd only be one of us, but we made sure that someone would turn up. And it's a very hard thing, because one of the things I take out of the Cold War process and everything that happened is that to Kelly and
brother from the council. You know, this is the second year that is stand up over there. These people have taken an effort in council and actually being able to take little steps like the plaque, like this, and actually assert themselves in the council, where the council can't just represent one colour of people in their precinct, that they have a responsibility. But people don't know about the situation with Dundali, how they hung him there where that zebra crossing is, how that was the jail, that when they came here, when white people came here, when the colonials come here, when the invaders came here, when they first set foot on this country, we automatically became the criminals. We already became, without doing anything else, we were the criminals. We were the enemy. We were the evil. We were everything that they chose to despise and eradicate and to practice genocide against. The moment they brought their law here was the moment that our people ceased to be people in their eyes. Years later, 250 years later, how these colonial governments that gravitated into federal and state governments and local governments chose to assert that position that on arrival and the establishment of their settlements, we became the criminals. We became the enemy. We became the bad. We became the devils. We became everything that was fucking bad. We became. Without any doing of our own.
Right.
This is the psychology that comes with fucking colonization. And it is more damaging than any gun, any bullet, any gas. It is more damaging. It's intergenerational. It makes and attacks the psyche and the heart of every black man, woman and child that they come in contact with. To the point where those people don't want to be black, don't want to be Aboriginal, don't want to be proud of their mothers, don't want to be proud of their fathers, don't want to be proud of their uncles. It attacks the very essence of their identity. It's intergenerational. It's passed on from grandfathers to sons to daughters to aunties. We can face their fucking guns. You can survive their jails. But when they make a black man, a black woman, a black child be ashamed of who they are, that was the desired effect of their colonial pursuits of our values and our resources. This is the price many of our people pay. We still suffer that. We still live that. We see it happening every day. We see it happening every day. When they came here, all our men, all our women, that we see in the jails, they're not criminals. They are political pawns in this whole game. They are pawns, and they set up time and time again. We hear it so many times within our communities. Look around, you ask yourself, where are all these other Aboriginals? Where are all these other black fellas? Oh, we can't go near them fellas. We'll lose our job. We can't go down to that march. I'll lose my position at the university. We can't get involved because something will happen to our family. The position, and it's not new, it happened in Dundali's time. He chose not to be a tracker. He chose not to be a trooper. Many of our people were forced into those positions to take on the troopers, to take up the guns and kill their own people. I've been fortunate to actually be around and watch the first blackfellas go to university and go to colleges and go to Bible colleges and to seek educations. When you look at it and you look at these developments, you look at the opportunities, you ask yourself, and you ask some of those blackfellas, and I used to ask them, why did you go to university? Why did you become a lawyer? Why did you become a school teacher? Why did you take that job on the council? Why, in these efforts, do you put up with your gin jokes, your blackfella jokes? And you turn and you smile and you say, oh, he doesn't mean that. The bullshit and the psychological intent of these governments, whether they're federal government, whether they're the state government, whether they're the local government policy, is the intent of their policies. The foolish, our people. And what has happened in the last 50, really in the last 30 years, it's not that long ago, as Bo said, 1982, we were still here in Queensland, I was 19, and we were still under the Act. We were still under that Apartheid Act. When they declared martial law in Brisbane during that November, when we took back the streets, they were real tanks, they were real guns, and they were real soldiers that we face every day.
Shame.
Every day. 30 years is not a long time. Is not a long time. 30 years, you could still be picked up by the police in Brisbane and sent to Cherbourg, sent to Palm Island, sent to Arakoon, sent to Warrabinda. 30 years ago, 12 of us were named in the Parliament of Queensland that if we were caught in Queensland, we had to undergo psychiatric assessment. 12 of us. 30 years is not long ago. When we see what we've been able to and what the government's policies of the days are, their policy is they don't give a fuck about blackfellas. The less blackfellas they have to deal with, the better. That's their policy. That's why they had a policy nationwide to kill every blackfella, man, woman and child. Genocide. Nothing less. Nothing less. Their policy today may not be genocide through murder and massacres, but their policy is to attack the psyche of every Aboriginal man, woman and child in this country and to eradicate any aspirations of free will.
Yeah, woo!
To eradicate any aspirations of being free. To eradicate any aspirations of practicing our own law. To eradicate any aspirations of living in our own homelands and raising our children and practicing our religion, our language. Their policy of the day, whether it be the federal government, whether it be the state government, and whether it be the local government, is to eradicate any semblance of a free black person. Assimilation. Assimilation through privilege. The ability to attack the psyche of every black person in this country, every Aboriginal person. Have a look at it. You all would have seen the Australia Day ads in the last couple of days. You've got the whole push that we should be Australian. The whole push in the last 3 years in the policy of distraction. If you ask about native title, a distraction. Every time Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal people get to a point in politics we're able to advance, they offer and they give another distraction. Whether it be reconciliation, whether it be native title, whether it be Congress, whether it be Voice, whether it be the Euro, you can name any of them. They give you a particular treaties, all distractions from what we know is what is needed. And when I come and we talk about the various warriors, when you look at NITV, when you look at the television and the media, what you see is what the government want you to see. They want you to see Rachel Perkins talking shit about something she knows fuck all about. Who does Rachel Perkins represent? She don't represent her mob in Arana. She don't talk for her mob. But they will let a fuckwit like that get up and give the fucking boy a lecture. Fuck me dead. The boy a lecture is supposed to be given about topics that are challenging, encouraging, and have some sort of intellectual base. What she reiterated was shit about a fucking subject called recognition. For fuck's sake, if you don't know who you are, look in the fucking mirror. and give a boy a lecture and expect them and all them white people that applaud her, you're fucking silly. Or just have no intelligence. The People Recognise campaign was put to bed 5 years ago. Put to bed by the people. When they talk, and when they talk about a voice, and how we need a voice, it is a deliberate insult on all those leaders around the country that dared to get up and walk out on these streets when that young boy was murdered in Dundali. When that young boy was murdered in Dundali, I heard every community in this country raise their voice. Every community in this country raise their voice, screaming out for justice. We didn't need no bullshit voice. Every community in this country knew who their leaders were, knew where the social conscience was in that town. When I saw outside this police station in Roma Street, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids leading the march, telling the coppers, putting their voice up to them, screaming out for justice for that boy that was murdered in Dundali. That is the fucking voice. Listen to it. The government won't listen to it. Not at a local level, not at a state level, not at a federal level. But we, as a community, whether it's Minjan, whether it's Kalamata, whether it's Cherbourg or Palm Island, listen to the voice of them kids that are 8, 9 and 10 leading the marches, yelling out for what they know is true, which is basically their voice and justice. We don't need the McGooders of this world. We don't need the public servants of this world to tell 8, 9, 10-year-old kids what is required. This year, be very, very conscious of the distractions. I'm old, getting older, but the one thing we have to work out, and the old people have always said it, don't get caught up in the bullshit. Don't get distracted. We can't keep being distracted. We'll have the self-indulgent people like the McGooders, like the Marcia Langtons, like the Jackie Huggins, the people that want to run around on these treaty committees. We don't need these distractions. What our people need and what we need is to be able to advance our struggle. Now, the fight's never been about treaties, it's never been about deaths and custodies. These are just increments that happen along the way. They're things that we deal with it. The fight has always been, since Dundali to me, to tomorrow, is being free men in our own country. Whether you're Didra, whether you're Cooma, whether you're Juggera, or whether you're new settlers that have come off the boats and chose to live on our homeland and be part of our society. It's about being free. And that mechanism that enables us to be free is called our law. Not L-O-R-E, L-A-W. First here, first in line, first in time. Our law. Our law is what enables us to visit other people's country and to be able to work and practice what we are. Our law enables us to have treaties with new settlers that choose to come here. What Dundali died for was practicing his law. Malapai, Matagara, Yagan, Windrudine, Truganini, all these people, it's not fucking rocket science. It's not Aboriginal Studies 101 at fucking Monash University. It's being free to practice your own law in your own country. Practice our law, practice our religion, teach it to our neighbours that come to choose to live on our country. Share it, adopt them. The struggle in this country, as Ruby said earlier, and Bo, it's about what we do with that 10%. That 10%, there are 2% that will be cunning, conniving, self-privileged black people. We will always have it. You will always have your trackers and troopers. You'll always have your mission managers. They will be the first ones to come into our camps and pinch our kids. It's how we smarten up and how we handle this next year. This year, 2020. They are already putting up their values. The mob in La Perouse have already invited us down there in April. We want to see April gathering in Botany Bay bigger than 1988. Bigger than 1988. More people there than ever there was in 88. I was proud with the gathering and when we gathered in 88 and what the country was able to do in 88. This year, April in La Perouse in Botany Bay has to be bigger. No one's going to give us funding. No one's going to give us fuck all to get there. But they will give the communities around this country funding in this year to celebrate 250 years of more Captain Cook bullshit lies. And those blackfellas that participate in it should hang their heads in fucking shame. From Wudjal to Canberra, there's no excuse. When we talk and when we go and we have these conversations, what people have been able to achieve in the last 5 years, I could never have imagined it would come on so quick. 100,000 people in Melbourne. Kalgoorlie, a little place in the desert. Young kids, 16, 12, 18, taking on police in the main street and all the fucking redneck miners they could muster in Kalgoorlie. And putting the fucking shit up them. Putting the shit up them. That's the courage that when they see the leadership that has come out of people like Bo and Ruby and the owner schools down in Sydney and the other people up in around Cairns, the young people that are coming through now, that's the things that the people in Kalgoorlie need. That's the people in Narracoo need. Narracoo, we're looking at it this morning. The most suppressive community still being able to prevail and to rule and to enchain that particular mob. The people in Narracoo have fought since 1982 for their freedom. Everything that happens to them poor bastards there is a direct result of the interference of this fucking colonial government in their freedom. If you've ever been up there, there's that much country, that much beautiful country. Those people should be able to be living on their own homeland, not forced into fucking slums they call Arakoon Shire Town. Those communities that our people are forced to live in, whether it's in Yuendamu, whether it's in Kalgoorlie, whether it's in Geraldton, are fucking slums. And we know what comes out of slums. We were never born into poverty. Poverty was a word we didn't know until the fucking colonial government come here and made us live in fucking poverty. Poverty. Slums. That is the Cold War process that they inflict on every black fella in every community around this country. Treaties. You can't talk about treaties when they subject our people to live in slums and in poverty. We're lucky, some of us. We go home at night to a good bed, to food, to that. But every fucking night, them people in Arakoon and Geraldton and in the Yuendamu go home to fuck all. Go home to fuck all. This is what Dundali didn't want. He didn't have his people living in poverty. They didn't have to live in fear. They didn't have to fear retribution and persecution. This is what people like Dundali, Molopai, Mudugurrup, Windradine, Tuganini, Dagan, all fought for, and the many others that Bo, we don't know the names of. The many others that we don't know. Every one of them people had aunties, mothers, sisters to look after and look after them. We don't know their names. But one thing is sure, is that what they stood for was not persecution from the fucking state and the Commonwealth, and no more distractions. No more distractions. As we see it, and as we go ahead, and we listen to many of those young kids, we marched here no more than a month and a half ago. White and Brindle walked from Queen's Gardens to over to Musgrave Park. 100,000 in Sydney, another 100,000 in Melbourne. People make change. Governments don't. Governments don't initiate change. People, you, us, them, we're the ones that make change. There's no such thing as government funding. It's our fucking tax that gives them the money to give back to us. Ruby spoke about it earlier. Bo spoke about it earlier. Be the change. Those 12 and 14-year-old kids, the young fellas that are walking down there that know the difference between murder and an accident. When a white policeman and a black man walk into a cell and only the white policeman walks out, you don't have to be a fucking CSI investigator to work out what happened. We know it is. People make change. We make change. 2020 has to be a day. Every time we advance, and I'm so proud of what people have been able to do in the last 5 years. People say I'm forever the optimist. Well, I am the optimist. I can remember walking down through the street on a protest when there'd only be 20 of us. And when you walk down that street and have people abuse you when there's only 20 of you, and then you walk down and you see 35,000 people yelling out what you were yelling out then, that gives you hope. When this fellow was killed here in 1855 and the mob was sitting on the hill, he yelled out to him in his language, "Avenge me, continue to fight, make sure it don't stop." And all the people, thousands of black fellas on that hill, heard him and listened to him. And each one of them kept it going. It went all the way up to Gatton, it went all the way down to Bow Desert, it went all the way through to Mudgara up in Toowoomba. People make change. This country, the big questions, don't get caught up in the treaty stuff. The big questions are, it's always been, and it always will be, about law. Whose law was here first? Who are the criminals? If you practice your own law, it's very unlikely that you can be a criminal. If you practice your own law, it's unlikely you can interfere with other people. Ours was a law of responsibility. Ours is still a law about responsibility. Ours is never and never was a law about property. Common law is based, British common law is based on nothing else but property. This year, we concentrate on our communities, you concentrate on your families. It's great to see that everyone can dance. It's great to see that everyone can paint and corroborate. Teach them when they're at the dinner table. Teach them about the law. Teach them about the religion. Practice our law, practice our religion. Make our families strong. Make our white friends strong in knowing that law and knowing the religion. Practice it. The more we practice it, the more that they don't know what to do with it. Brother Hamish was with me 5 years ago when they would send in, every night we lit the fire, they would send in three fire brigades, they'd send in 3 fire engines, they'd send in 6 squad cars, and they'd arrest us every time we practiced and we lit that fire, and they took us to court. Every time. Eventually, the judge got tired of it and recognised that that wasn't a fire, that was part of our religion, that was part of our law. He threw it out. We go there now, any person can go there, any time, any day, and practice their religion there, light the fire. Talk to the old people. Find condolences within the fire. Lift their spirit. That's our religion. That's how we practiced it. When we practiced our religion, when we practiced our law, they had no answer. No answer. When we talk about where we go, it's important that our law and our society start with our families. Make sure your family knows what they want. Make sure they know what they're going. Make sure your nation knows where you're going. Make sure you know what you want. I say it in all honesty. It takes more courage And the biggest challenge that we have this year, no one else, it came out of the G20, but it didn't come out of the G20. It was reiterated again in the Commonwealth Games protests, but it didn't start there. It started way back when all the black fellas were kicked out of the mission. When the ones in those concentration camps, the Palm Island 7, where they sent warships in there in 1947, they sent in warships, guns blazing, blew up the fucking beach, took 7 families off there in chains in the middle of the night. Men, women, kids and husbands in chains. The Australian Navy. When our people had the courage to say no, the Palm Island 7, the Witt case, the deaths in custodies. This year, it's about fighting the fight that you don't see. And that's that demon of a policy of distraction and disillusion. The recognised campaigns, the Congress campaigns, the voice campaigns, all these are distractions. The treaties. What is not a distraction is the pursuit of truth. The truth. Before we can have any treaties, before we can have any reconciliation, before we can have any recognition, the truth has to be put on the table. The Truth Commission has to be owned by anybody, black, white or brindle, that calls this place home and wants their children to inherit this country and the privilege of surviving in this country. A Truth Commission and the pursuit of truth has to be tabled and put before the public in all avenues. Whether it's primary school curriculums, whether it's universities, not having hand-picked Aboriginal academics teaching fucking bullshit, Aboriginal Studies 101. Truth and the pursuit of truth is the only thing that heals this country and gives it proper direction to the future. I'll say it again. The truth and the pursuit of truth is the only thing that will heal this country. It's the only thing that will heal us as individuals and them as visitors and settlers. It's the only thing that will enable this country to go ahead as an example to the rest of the world. Your way. Thank you.